These are some of the common qualities or common habits that I see people go on to really nurture and develop as they're moving through their transformative part of their lives. And in no particular order here. So the first one is really being present and cultivating the skill or cultivating the habit of really being present is truly something that will transform your life. It will take you from, so much resistance in the hard moments to just being able to go through things with ease and go through things with grace. That doesn't mean it's actually easy, but you can get through these things or these difficult moments in time with a little bit of grace, and usually being present to the moment and being fully aware of the moment and fully in the moment rather than thinking about what's going to happen in the future is a habit that I really see develop when people really start to work with their mindset, and it really helps them to become more resilient to stress. And that generally carries over to other aspects of their life. So in their work, in their family. And it really is one of those things that you really do need to cultivate. So this is where things like meditation and journaling, other mindfulness practices really come in handy. And in being able to work with people, being able to see them transition this into other aspects of their life and see how it helps them to become more successful in these areas of their life is really rewarding for me. And I think it's something that more of us need to understand and be aware of. What often happens naturally out of that is often practicing more gratitude. Again, doesn't make things necessarily any easier or doesn't make things less hard or less difficult, but changing the way that your mental approach to things. So being grateful for the window that closed, but then often when you turn the corner, a door has opened for you. Having that aspect of gratitude just really carries over to so many different aspects of your life. And again, it's not something that for most people happens naturally. It's something you need to cultivate, and it's something you need to work on. And quite frankly, a lot of times it's hard. But seeing what happens when you're able to more consistently be in that mental space and really kind of develop that habit, it really just opens up your life in so many ways. So again, this is where things like, having a gratitude journal or really just, again, practicing things like meditation can really, really change your outlook on life and really open up what comes into your life as well. Another habit that I see many of my successful clients start to develop, or it's something that I actually tried to help them with, is really having a self-care plan. And this is really for your physical health, but also for your mental health. So figuring out, what are you going to add into your daily life, or what are you going to take away? Are you going to add in meditation? Are you going to add in more exercise? If so, what does that look like? Are you going to change your diet? Again, if so, what does that look like? Are you going to change your protein, change your macros? Are you going to eat more carbs? Are you going to eat less fat? What specifically are you going to do? And having an actual detailed plan makes all the world of difference. And really being able to have the skills to develop that plan and to troubleshoot when things go wrong or when things come up, because they always do, because life is always going life and things are always happening. Having that skill of being able to not only plan things out, but then being able to adjust as you go through life is really not something that's only going to be for your self-care, but it's going to flow into other areas of your life. And I have seen it happen time and time again with my clients. And when they have this tool, or when they feel like they have a way to plan for this or a way to adjust for this, it really takes some of the stress out of whatever situation they're dealing with, because they feel like they're mentally and physically equipped to handle it. Developing a self-care plan, whether or not you need help from a coach or for someone like me, or whether or not it's something you can do on your own. It doesn't matter how you get there, as long as you start to develop this habit. And along with this, another habit is having time for self-reflection and having time for check-ins. So again, if you're working with a coach or someone like me, this is what we would do on our, monthly call. We check in. Where are you on your plan? Have you actually been doing it? What is stopping you? And you really being able to take the time to do some critical, inward thinking or inward looking, doing the self-reflection and saying, okay, well, maybe that goal of going to the gym 5 times a week was a little too ambitious. Okay, so then you pull back, but be honest with yourself and have that time for self-reflection and have that accountability to yourself, that is really important for your growth as you continue to walk through life, not just in your self-care or in your health and wellness, but in all aspects of your life. So developing that habit of, let's call it accountability, is super, super important to your success. At the same time, that flows into the next kind of habit, but that's actually, even though you have accountability, being gentle with yourself and giving yourself some freaking grace. So many times we are our own worst enemies. We beat ourselves up. There's so much negative self-talk. And many times we often talk ourselves right out of making change because we let the perfection be the enemy of the good, or we let the negative self-talk take over. So remembering or developing, again, cultivating the habit of being graceful with yourself or giving yourself a break is really important. And again, for a lot of us, especially a lot of my clients are a lot of type A type personalities, and they're so competitive, not only with others, but with themselves. And they're constantly looking to achieve. And oftentimes they're hard on themselves. And again, this can, in some ways, often backfire, because then rather than, their nutrition schedule or their exercise schedule, if it can't be perfect, then they won't do anything. Again, let's not make perfection be the enemy of good. So be kind to yourself, give yourself a break. Again, that doesn't mean you escape accountability, but also be nice to yourself. Another really important habit that, some people come to it naturally, some people don't, but that's setting boundaries. Sometimes, especially those of us that are either givers or helpers, tend to give everything for everyone else, whether or not it's your family or maybe your job, but then you have nothing left for you. This kind of ties in with, creating your plan for yourself, but you need to set boundaries on your time. You need to set boundaries on who has access to you within limit. If you, have a job, of course, your boss probably needs to get in touch with you every now and again, but setting reasonable boundaries about, working hours, about family time, about me time. One of the biggest things I often need to work with clients with is making sure that they're scheduling in that self-care or that time for themselves into their calendar, and actually seeing it pop up on their calendar and committing to themselves that this is my time. And having that firm boundary is sometimes can make all the difference in their success, not just in their health and wellness, but also, it again bleeds over into other aspects of their life. So cultivating that habit of setting firm boundaries is really important. And another habit I'll leave you with is really following your joy. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to change your career or do anything else, but making sure that you're giving yourself time to have an outlet, not only for your creativity or for your emotions, doing something that actually is bringing you joy, or the activity itself is joyful. So that could be dancing, singing, painting, walking in nature, whatever it is for you that really just brings you a sense of joy. You really have to carve time out for that, and you really have to follow that. So these are just some of the tips that I have seen in working with my clients over the years, that they go on to develop these types of mental habits, or they cultivate these types of habits, and it not only makes them successful in whatever their health and wellness goals are, losing weight, feeling less anxiety, being more resilient to stress, having more energy, whatever for health and wellness, but it also really does bleed over into other aspects of their life. And this has been probably one of the more rewarding things for me to observe as a health coach and in working with them. But I wanted to share these with you because these are things that I think that everybody should know, or things that we should be working to develop. So if you would like to learn how to work with me, if you have any questions about that, you can click the description box below. I have a link for my coaching program, the Better Health Blueprint. In that program, we have monthly calls and check-ins and all the accountability you could need, as well as a plan. So if you need help with that, you can click on the link in the description box below. Otherwise, if you're also looking for a transformation and feel like you need a little bit of help, then why don't you check out this playlist here. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.